And we are seeing visuals now of that ancient field. All the invited guests, just 100 of them, making their way to the temple of Hera, which is part of the ancient Olympia complex where the Olympics were held, the ancient Olympics were held thousands of years ago. And the temple of Hera is in fact a very small part of that complex, but that is where the actual ceremony, Molly, will begin, the Olympic flame lighting ceremony. In fact, as you see this arch and all the invited guests walking out, if you see the stone plaques which are there, the history goes, and I saw it when I visited this place, that all those who were caught cheating at the Olympic Games and were disbarred from competing in future Olympic Games, their names were inscribed. So in fact, this is a so-called walk of shame, you know. You have that these days in the Olympic Games as well, lots of doping cases. But you had cheating back then in the ancient Olympic times, and a lot of these stones carry names of those who were thrown out of the Olympic Games to ensure that, you know, they were never allowed to compete again at the Olympics. Just about a 2-minute walk from that ancient Olympic arena to the temple of Hera. As you can see, no crowds. When the Olympic flame usually is lit for other Olympic Games, this entire place is packed with spectators who come to witness a moment in history. The local area has taken a hit. It's a very, Olympia is a very small town. It's about 45 minutes from the Mediterranean Sea as well. There is the International Olympic Academy, which is there. And then there's an Olympic museum as well, not too far away from this site. As you can see, this is the ancient temple of Hera where the flame will be lit. Ancient Greek mythology says that Hera was the wife of Zeus, and in fact, the concept of the Olympic flame comes from Prometheus, who stole the god's fire, and that's how the legend started back in ancient times, and that's a ceremony which is followed even now. In fact, the Olympic flame first made its appearance in 1928. Remember, the Olympics were revived by Baron Pierre de Coubertin in 1896, and Athens hosted the first modern Olympic Games in 1896. But the concept of the Olympic flame actually began in 1936 with the Berlin Olympic Games. Remember, those were the infamous Hitler Games in which that flame was lit in Olympia for the very first time. And after that, every subsequent Olympic Games, the Olympic flame has been lit here at this very temple of Hera. And you can see the head priestess there, the actress who is going to deputize as the head priestess of the temple of Hera. And she is starting to begin the ceremony. There is a parabolic mirror in her hand, and what she's going to do is she's going to focus the sun's rays onto that wooden cloth in her hands and light it, and that starts the Olympic process. 19 weeks before the start of the actual Olympic Games, the Olympic flame will be lit. The first torchbearer, it's a bit of history as well. The first torchbearer today is going to be Anna Korakaki. She is a Greek shooter who won a gold and a bronze medal at the Rio Olympic Games. In fact, I was there when she won her gold medal in the women's 25-meter pistol and the women's 10-meter pistol as well. And this is for the first time in history that the first torchbearer for an Olympic torch relay is going to be a woman. The IOC has made it very clear that it believes in gender equality. It has asked all countries competing at the Olympic Games to send at least one female competitor. And the latest IOC figures show that this time there's going to be at least 48% female representation at the Olympic Games.
ιερά σιωπή, να ηχήσει όλος ο αιθέρας, η γη, η θάλασσα και οι πνοές των ανέμων. Όροι και τέμποι, σιγήστε, ήχοι και φωνές πουλιών, πάυσατε, γιατί μέλη να μας συντροφεύσει ο Φίβος, ο φωσφόρος βασιλεύς. Απόλλωνα, Θεέ του ήλιου και της ιδέας του φωτός, στείλε τις ακτίνες σου και άναψε την ιερή δάδα για τη φιλόξενη πόλη του Τόκιο.
Δική μας μένει εδώ, ό,τι να πήγε να πήγε. Θα μείνεις εδώ.
And with that, the countdown to the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games well and truly underway with the lighting of the Olympic flame in Olympia. The flame lit, like we just witnessed, at the Temple of Hera, which is located on the site of the ancient Olympic arena. What we saw in those images were the actresses and a specific actress also portraying the role of the high priestess of the temple, using a parabolic mirror to concentrate the sun's rays and light the flame. Our sports editor Digvijay Singh Deo has been with us. It's a scaled-down ceremony, Digvijay, but a lot of symbolism in those images. The traditions, of course, remaining the same. As part of the measures taken by the organizers, the first time in more than 35 years that this ceremony is taking place without spectators.
Yes, as you can see that grass bank over there, Molly, just in front of where the guests are seated, that's usually filled with spectators. The side of this the grassy banks all across this pretty long stadium is usually filled with spectators, but this time because of the coronavirus outbreak, especially in this part of Greece where Olympia is, they decided to restrict it to only about 100 select invitees. Even the media wasn't invited. The media is there, but they are far away in some tent seeing a live feed like you and I. So clearly the Olympics have had to they've had to scale down. We don't know if the Olympic Games will be scaled down. At the moment, the president of the IOC, Thomas Bach, pretty emphatic there, saying that they're going to go all the way, praising the way Japan has managed to handle the situation in the build-up to the Games as well. But what the IOC doesn't tell us is that there are many sportspersons out there who do not know if the Games will go on, one, and they don't know if the qualification period for the Games will continue or be extended. A lot of Indian
Μάτερ, ο Χρυσοστεφάνων αέθλων, Ολυμπία, δέσποινα αλαθείας, ειν αμάντιες άνδρες, εμπείρις τεκμερώμενοι, παραπηρώνται διώσαργοι κεράβνου, ή την έχει λόγων ανθρώπων περιμεωμένων, μεγάλαν αρετάνθιμο λαβήν, των δε μόχθων αμπνοάν. Απόλλωνα, Θεέ του ήλιου και της ιδέας του φωτός, έστειλες τις ακτίνες σου και άναψες την ιερή δάδα για τη φιλόξενη πόλη του Τόκιο. Και εσύ, ó Δία, χάρισε ειρήνη σε όλους τους λαούς της γης και στεφάνωσε τους νικητές του ιερού αγώνα.
Παράδοση της Ολυμπιακής Φλόγας από την Προφέρεια Ξανθή Γεωργίου στην πρώτη λαμπαδιδρόμο, τη Χρυσή Ολυμπιονίκη στη σκοποβολή Άννα Κορακάκη. Handover of the Olympic flame by the High Priestess Ξανθή Γεωργίου to the first torchbearer, the Olympic gold medalist in shooting, Anna Korakaki.
In Olympia, and the first torchbearer is a bit of history as well. It is Anna Korakaki, Greece's Olympic champion in the women's 25-meter pistol at the Rio Games in shooting. She also won a bronze in the 10-meter air pistol. This signals the start of the torch relay. There is going to be a 7-day torch relay in Greece, after which the torch will be handed over to the organizing committee of Japan in Athens on the 19th of this month, and from there the torch relay is off to Japan, where it will culminate hopefully at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games on the 24th of July in Tokyo.
I like how you said hopefully there, Digvijay, given the concerns that have been mounting amid the coronavirus outbreak, a lot of measures that have been taken by countries across the world, speculation also rife over whether the Olympics in itself will be affected. Will those events be scaled down just like the ceremony? Japan at the moment saying that is unthinkable. We're going to leave it there for the moment as the countdown to the Tokyo Games has officially begun.